Well, good afternoon, everyone. Phil Penarski here with CBS 42 Now. Hope you're all having a great start to your day. We are just a few moments away from hearing from Alabama head football coach Nick Saban as he gets set to lead the Crimson Tide into battle in their Week 1 matchup as defending national champions against the Miami Hurricanes in Atlanta. Again, this game is scheduled for Saturday. Hard to believe that we are already back to football season. It feels like just yesterday the Crimson Tide had won the national championship against Ohio State back in January. Again, we are just awaiting a few moments. The press conference was scheduled to begin at noon, but for obvious reasons, with lots of prep time taking place right now ahead of the Week 1 matchup, Coach Saban is likely going to be just a few minutes late, but don't worry, we will bring you the entire press conference in its entirety right here on CBS 42 Now. And you can also find all of Coach Saban's past press conferences ahead of this upcoming season over on our website, cbs42.com. Do want to remind everybody that our sports team will be leading the charge against all of this college football coverage as we get set for opening weekend coming up in just a few short days over on CBS 42. And you can get notified with all the latest scores, updates, and whenever we have either Coach Saban or even Coach Brian Harsin at Auburn when they speak after their post-game press conferences, you can get alerted with that by downloading the CBS 42 News app. It is available for free for all Android and iOS devices. Again, the number 1 ranked Crimson Tide will be taking on the Miami Hurricanes in Atlanta this Saturday in Atlanta. Very excited for the season to get started. And we will also be hearing from wide receiver John Mechie III during this press conference as well. And he will be joined by linebacker Christian Harris as well later on in this press conference. It appears Coach Saban has taken the podium, so we will send you there live now.
Go ahead.
Well, I think most of our players would tell you that they're excited about having the opportunity to get into game week, prepare for another team, not be hitting on each other. So this is a great opportunity for our team. I think this is a very challenging game for us against a very, very good team. And, our players have to be able to stay focused on playing one play at a time, especially in opening games. I think sometimes things happen in opening games that are unexpected, maybe you're unprepared for, and you got to be able to adapt and adjust and play the next play and not be outcome oriented, but stay focused on what you need to do to be able to play well in the next play. I also think that's very important in preparation. Every team sort of defines itself by the identity that they create, the effort, the toughness, the discipline, the intangibles that they play with. And, it'll be no different for this team. They have a great opportunity to do that against a very good team. And we always look forward to playing in Atlanta. It's, been a city that's been very welcoming to us, and the atmosphere and environment there has always been fantastic in whatever venue that we play. So, I think action is what we're really looking for here. I think it conquers a lot of anxiety and other things, and that action starts with your preparation so that you're well prepared and confident when you get into the game. You all have a depth chart now, so you should be really, really happy with that, even though it may not be 100% exact relative to injuries or anything like that. Q Robinson is suspended indefinitely, from the team. He'll get evaluation and also go through the protocols that we have for any alcohol or drug-related issue. I would like to just take a minute to let everybody on the Gulf Coast know that, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your families. And, hopefully, you don't have to go through too much agony over this storm, but know that there's a lot of people out there that are going to be focused on helping you, if you do. Specifically about Miami, I think this is a really, really good team. They've got 19 out of 22 starters back from last year's team that won 8-3. So they've got 10 starters back on offense. They've got 9 starters back on defense. Quarterback King is a really, really good player. They've got outstanding skill guys, 2 very productive receivers coming back from last year. They've got good runners. So this is a really, really good team. This is going to be a really challenging game for us on both sides of the ball. They're good on special teams. Their punter is like number 2 in the nation last year in net punt or whatever. They've got really good team speed. These guys play hard. They're very aggressive. So it's going to be a very challenging game for us, and it's a big game for our players to, establish the identity of what's this team going to be? Who are we going to be? Doesn't matter what we've been in the past. It's all about what we do, in this game.
Okay, with that, we'll get things started with Michael Casagrande. Go ahead, Michael.
Looking at the receivers, JoJo Earl's up there in the depth chart. What's he showing you in August this month?
JoJo's had a really good camp, very quick, very fast, really good in and out of the break, really good route runner, very consistent catcher. So he's done a really good job, and obviously, have some opportunity to play in the game.
Okay, we'll go to Aaron Suttles. Aaron, go ahead.
What have you seen from Jace McClellan and his growth from last year, and how that helped in that experience playing last year till this offseason in this camp?
Jace has done a really, really good job. I think he's really confident. I think he really understands the offense when he has the ball, when he doesn't have the ball, which I always think is really important in the development of a running back. Most of these guys that we recruit, they're pretty good when they got the ball, but it's learning how to play when they don't have the ball. And I think that's probably where he's made the most progress. And we have a lot of confidence in him. He's a really good special teams player as well.
Go to Nick Kelly with Tuscaloosa.
Where is the overall cohesion and just health of the offensive line at right now?
I think we'll obviously see, when the game comes, but we've had some injuries in the offensive line, so we haven't always had the same group together, which, the good thing about that is you get more experience for other guys who may have to play. The bad news is those guys didn't get to play together quite as much, but I'm confident in the group. There's a lot of competition up there, which I think is a good thing. And we'll see. They're going to play against a good front, an active front, very aggressive front in this game. So it'll tell us where we're at.
We'll go to Charlie Potter.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the injuries on the offensive line. Do you have an update on Kendall Randolph and also DeMarco Helms?
The offensive line is all back intact. DeMarco will start running, today. He's still probably questionable for this game. So I can't answer whether he'll be available for the game or not.
We will go to Ryan Hennessy. Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I was just wondering what you've seen so far throughout this camp with Bryce Young and his progression going into game week.
Yeah, Bryce has done a nice job. I think he's very confident. He understands the offense really well. He's accurate with the ball. As I've mentioned before, the focus has been, can we get the players around him to play a little bit better with him? So that's going to, help him probably be able to execute a little bit better. And that's been what we've worked hard on, and I think we're making good progress in that regard.
We'll go to Stephen Smith. Go ahead.
Coach, specifically Darian Dalcourt in his 3rd year on the offensive line, where has he improved the most?
He's gotten bigger and stronger, playing with a little bit more power. There's a lot of competition at the center position, which is a good thing. But he has played really well and had a good fall camp, and we're really pleased with the progress that he's made, and I'm excited about watching him when he gets an opportunity to play, how he actually performs out there as a young player who doesn't have quite as much experience as some of the other players, but has really shown a lot of maturity in his play throughout fall camp.
We'll go to Cecil. Cecil, go ahead.
Coach, you were performing at such a high level offensively at the end of last season. do you anticipate that people will expect that you can just pick that up and go, or do you think there's a little more realism about starting over offensively?
I really can't answer that because I don't know what people think out there. You probably have a better feel for that than I do. But I think the realistic approach is we had a lot of new players on offense. It's a work in progress to get all these players to develop to be productive and consistent performers. We're working hard on that. The coaches are doing a good job of that. We've got new faces at a lot of positions, which creates a lot of opportunity for people. How they manage it in the game, how they can take it to the game, how they prepare for the game. Those are all question marks that get answered when you play a game. We're working hard on it. Wherever we are, we're going to continue to work on it and develop it. I have confidence in the players that we have. We just have, players that don't have as much experience as we had a year ago. So we're going to see how that manifests itself into positive performance on a consistent basis, and how can they manage playing one play at a time, and how can they stay focused on executing and doing their job. And I think that'll go a long way to say, how productive we are, as an offensive team.
We'll go to John Zener with the Associated Press.
Yeah, Nick, I know fans everywhere are excited to kind of getting players, coaches to get college football back to normal. And you guys have had a great vaccination rate, athletic department wide. Do you have any reservations, or is it more excitement when knowing you're going to have a full stadium and everything? For the fans' perspective, not necessarily just the players and safety and everything.
Well, I'm excited for, our players to have the opportunity to play in front of fans. I'm excited for our fans who have great passion and been very supportive. I'm also very respectful of, whatever provisions that we make for the safety of the people who come to the games, whether they're, state laws, university, protocols, whatever it might be, because I still think we have to respect the safety of how we can do this. As excited as we are about the opportunity that we have to have a full stadium, I think we want to have a full stadium that's safe for the people in it.
Okay, we'll go to Jacob Harrison. Got time for two more.
Coach, taking on a player of the athlete caliber that De'Aaron King is as a scrambler, what's it mean to your defense to have some speed at the middle linebacker position with Henry Toto and Christian Harris?
Well, I think team speed on defense in this day and age in football is very, very important, with all the people who run spread, who really are going to, make you cover horizontally as well as vertically the entire field. And when you have great athletes that have great speed, especially at the quarterback position, that adds another element to that you're out here spread out trying to cover all these guys. And now you've got a quarterback who's got great ability to scramble, extend plays, make plays, scrambling, throwing, as well as running. That adds another element to it. And he certainly does that extremely well. He executes their offense extremely well. He's very comfortable in how he manages the game for them, and gets them in, plays that have a great chance to be successful for them. And he's a good decision maker on, whether it's the RPOs, the bubbles, the smokes, the plays that they run that complement the running game. So, I think this guy presents lots of issues because he's a great player and he's a great athlete and he's a great quarterback, all rolled in one.
We'll finish up with Aaron.
You may not know the answer to this because of the situation on the offensive line. You having to shuffle guys in and out, but do you get a sense of where your run defense is at this point in time?
I think we got more veteran players playing up front. We strike blocks, we control blockers. We got pretty decent edge players. But again, you really don't know until the players go out there and play and execute and do their job. And I think playing with discipline on defense and playing team defense is probably one of the most critical factors, whether it's a run or a pass. And regardless of a player's ability to play, I think they have to understand that if everybody does my job, our jobs collectively, we're going to have the best chance to effectively stop runs as well as, have a chance to be a good defense when it comes to playing pass defense. So, and look, we have some experienced players that should be able to do this, but I think they got to prepare correctly and go out there and perform the way they're capable of, and we'll kind of find out where we're at. I don't have the answers to these questions. You can't figure all this stuff out, in practice. I don't know how the offensive line is going to do. I don't know how the run defense is going to do. I don't know how a new player playing wide receiver or cornerback is going to do. But this is their opportunity and their challenge to show what they can do. And I want them to do that in a very positive way, where they're focused on their action one play at a time and how they respond to the next play, regardless of what happened to the play before. So that's kind of how we're going to approach this game, and that's how we got to go about it against a very good team.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You guys will have Fidarian Mathis here next. Thanks.
And that was Alabama head coach Nick Saban approaching the podium, and it appears that we will now be hearing from players, so we'll send you there live now.
Yeah, being a veteran on the team, what advice or guidance do you give first-time starters making their debuts in such a big game?
Just go out there and tell those guys, just take one play at a time. Do what coach told you to do. Don't go out there try to be a hero. Don't try to make the play. Let the play come to you.
Charlie?
Yeah, Phil, being a guy from Louisiana, just first of all, is everybody in your family okay? And just, what's been your reaction to the storm down there?
Oh, most definitely. Everybody, in my family is okay. But, I'm praying for Louisiana and everybody that's been affected by it. And, I just want to tell everybody to keep their prayers for Louisiana.
Jacob?
Hey, Phil, when you're having to formulate a pass rush around a guy like D'Eriq King, who's such a good scrambling quarterback, what's kind of the mindset for you and the defensive front in how to contain him and handle him in your pass rush?
Just taking what they give us, being patient. Don't try to do too much and just use your technique that we worked on all week.
Ryan?
Yeah, I just want to ask you on the offensive side of the ball, the quarterback position, Bryce Young. What have you seen from him, and what are the confidence level on the defensive side going to Atlanta as him as your QB?
Just getting ready for the game. I think Bryce Young has been really productive on the field. He's been a very great competitor and also a great leader for the team. And I just can't wait to see what he brings to the table come this weekend.
Please raise your hand if you have a further question for Phil. Go ahead, Jacob.
Phil, what's been your thoughts on Javion Cohen since he stepped into a starting role?
Like I told you guys last time, man, he got great technique, and he gets everybody better. Every day we go out to work, and I'm just excited also to see him step up and play on that big role, with all those guys leaving from last year.
Steven.
Hey, Phil, how fun has it been being able to work with Henry To'o at linebacker, just his leadership and him preparing for this game? How fun has it been working with him?
It's been really fun. I'm excited to have a guy like him, behind me at that position. He does a lot of great things, and he helps out this D-line a lot. For a guy like him to come from Tennessee and, pick up on everything that fast, I think that's what we need. And he also been a great leader for us. And you just can't get a lot of things that you get from him from a lot of people around here. And I'm excited to be a part, of the brotherhood with him.
Aaron.
What have you seen from Jace McClellan? And is he similar or dissimilar from the other running backs like a Brian Robinson? What's tricky about having to stop him in the run game?
He's very quick on his feet. And I know we really just got to contain him and, wrap him up when we get a great chance to get our hands on him. And also just not letting him get to the second level and get in the open field. And, we just got to wrap him up when we get a chance to. He's a very good back, and I'm just excited to compete.
Thank you, Phil.
Again, Phil Penarski here with CBS 42 Now. We want to thank you all for continuing to watch this live press conference with members of the Alabama football team, including head coach Nick Saban, who we just heard from a few moments ago, as well as defensive end Phil Mathis. And it appears we are waiting on one last player to take the podium today. We were told that Mathis would be joining us tomorrow for the press conference, but it appears that some things have been switched around, so we are just, looks like, awaiting one last member of the Crimson Tide football team to take the podium, addressing the team and the media right before the season opener versus the Miami Hurricanes in Atlanta. Again, that game is Saturday. Unbelievable that we are already back again for football season here in Alabama. Do want to remind everybody that coming up at 1:30, Brian Harsin, the head coach of the Auburn Tigers, will be holding a media press conference as well to address the media regarding the Tigers' Week 1 matchup against the Akron Zips. That game will be held at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, and that will also be Saturday at 6 p.m. I do want to mention some of the things that Coach Saban stated in his opening remarks. Of course, we are still following a story on linebacker Quandarius Robinson, who was arrested and charged with a DUI after a 3-car crash on Saturday night. Robinson, a 20-year-old sophomore, did not play last season but was listed as a backup linebacker for this upcoming season. Coach Saban saying earlier that he has been indefinitely suspended from the team for that arrest and that he will be going through counseling with the university regarding alcohol use. Coach Saban also sending his thoughts and prayers to those being affected by now Tropical Storm Ida after it hit the Gulf Coast, specifically the New Orleans area over the weekend. And actually, Phil Mathis's family is located in that area. He says that his family is safe, which is very good news to hear. And we are also keeping a close eye on all of the events happening in the Gulf Coast with then Hurricane Ida, now Tropical Storm Ida. We're continuing to keep an eye on that. All the latest information regarding that can be found over on our website, cbs42.com, as well as by downloading the CBS 42 News app. It is available for free for all Android and iOS devices. And again, we are still awaiting one last player to take the podium here. If you are just joining us, we have already heard from defensive end Phildarian Mathis, as well as head coach Nick Saban. The head coach obviously trying to keep his team focused. He mentioned the word focus quite a few times during this press conference. Also saying that Bryce Young, the highly touted quarterback, has done a nice job so far prepping for the Miami Hurricanes. But he said that his main goal is trying to get the rest of the players surrounding Young to play well with him. And again, Miami is returning 19 starters, so it'll be a very good opening week matchup for the Crimson Tide. Again, that game will be held in Atlanta this Saturday afternoon starting at 2:30 is the set kickoff time for Alabama's first game in their title defense. And again, if you are just joining us, Phil Penarski here with CBS 42 Now. We're all hoping you're having a great start to your day as we approach the 12:30 mark on this Monday here in August. Again, we are just a few moments away from hearing from one last player with the Alabama Crimson Tide, as again, the Crimson Tide look to defend their national championship this Saturday against the Miami Hurricanes in Atlanta. We heard from head coach Nick Saban at the start of the press conference. And we also heard from Phil Mathis, the defensive end for the Crimson Tide. They gave their opening remarks. They made mention of now Tropical Storm Ida. They sent their thoughts and prayers to all of those people who have been affected. And again, you can keep a close eye on all of the latest updates regarding the tropical storm, courtesy of our storm team over on our website, cbs42.com. You can also get all the latest information by downloading the CBS 42 News app. It'll get sent directly to the palm of your hand. Again, it is free to download for all Android and iOS devices. And we actually heard from several officials with the city of Birmingham as we get set to feel the impacts of Tropical Storm Ida here in central Alabama. Lots of preparations are being made in case any of the storm damage becomes too much to bear. Again, we are expecting, officials with the city of Birmingham say that we are expecting about 2 to 3 inches of rain over the next 24 hours. And Jim Coker with the Jefferson County Emergency Management Agency has said that we could possibly see some potential tornado warnings. So again, we will be keeping a close eye on that. Officials are recommending that you have multiple sources of information, and that's why the CBS 42 News app comes in handy. You will get live alerts sent directly to your phone when they happen, right when they happen. And again, it is free to download for all Android and iOS devices. One of the things Coach Saban mentioned in the early part of this press conference was the situation regarding Quandarius Robinson, the backup linebacker for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He was arrested Saturday night and charged with driving under the influence after a 3-car crash. The 20-year-old sophomore did not play last season for the Crimson Tide, but was listed as a backup on the team's depth chart. He has been suspended indefinitely. That's according to Coach Saban, and we will continue to follow up on that story all day on CBS 42. Again, the CBS 42 News at 4 coming up later on today. We'll have an update from our sports team there as well. And you can find all the latest information right now at any time over on our website, cbs42.com. And again, we are obviously keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Ida. Of course, the Tulane Green Wave football team is actually in Birmingham now practicing after being displaced due to Ida. Our digital reporter Landon Wexler is covering that today, so you can expect to hear all about the transition and all the difficulties surrounding that over on our website later on today. And I do want to remind everybody that Auburn head coach Brian Harsin will also be holding a press conference at 1:30 today, obviously addressing the Tigers' Week 1 matchup against the Akron Zips. That game will be held at Jordan-Hare Stadium at 6 p.m. this Saturday as well. And again, we have UAB football coming up later on this week as well. So a lot going on in the world of sports here across Alabama. Very exciting time. And I would also like to mention that we do not know this final player that is coming up ahead of time. We were told that Phil Mathis would be taking the podium tomorrow, but he has given his remarks today. So we are still awaiting on who is going to be the final player speaking at today's press conference. And you will hear it all live here on CBS 42 Now when they arrive.
John Mechie had a last-minute conflict, so we have Bryce Young for you here in just a few moments if you want to go ahead and raise your hand. All right, Joseph, you can go first.
Yeah, hey, Bryce, could you describe the moment that you feel like the team came together this fall camp and kind of found their identity, whether it was a big play or wind sprints or a fight, anything like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wouldn't say that there's particularly one moment where we came together. I think it was, it's gradual. You have to keep building your identity and keep working day in and day out. So I wouldn't say it's one play or one lift or one practice. I think it was just each day us continuing to stack days and continuing to get better. And, you keep adding those on, and we're at where we are now.
Ryan.
Bryce, talking about where you're at right now, obviously Saturday trotting out in Atlanta, exciting time for you getting start. What's the confidence level for you? And is this kind of the moment you've been waiting for ever since you were a young player?
Yeah. Everyone is obviously, everyone's really excited to get season started. You go through a long off season of going against each other, and it's great to, finally be able to play other people and start to game plan and prepare. It's super exciting overall, me individually and us as a team, just for us to start the season and for us to, try to put it together and start game planning and start working towards an opponent. Yeah, we're all excited about it.
Nick Kelly.
Hey, Bryce, I'm just curious with all the freshman receivers you guys have and talent there, how have they impressed you? What have they done well to just make such a strong impression?
Yeah, we've had a lot of super talented receivers come in, and a lot of people that have made a really good impression on me, on the rest of the team, and the coaching staff. Really just you can tell when they came in, there were guys that were really experienced at the high school level. You can tell how they came in. They came with a lot of talent. They came in, made a lot of plays early. We're all super excited about the young group of receivers.
Michael Bronner.
Yeah, Bryce, keeping it on the freshman receivers, can you talk a little bit specifically about JoJo Earl and kind of the development he's had this summer? He seems like he's kind of risen up the depth chart both on special teams and offense.
Yeah, JoJo has done a great job. He came in, and we were all really excited when he got in, and seeing what he's done on the practice field, seeing the work he's put in. It has a really positive impression on a lot of people on the team and a lot of people on the coaching staff. So we're all excited to see JoJo, and he's been doing a lot, and he's been working really hard, and we all have kind of noticed that and seen the professionalism he's coming with. So we're excited for that.
Jacob Harrison.
Hey, Bryce, something that Saban has kind of said a few times in his press conferences over the past few weeks is talking about wanting more consistency in your supporting cast on the offense, whether that's wide receivers or running backs or offensive line hasn't been really specified. Where's your confidence level in kind of the pieces that are around you that helps move this offense forward?
Yeah, I have all the confidence in the world in my teammates. We are striving for consistency, and we're striving for greatness, but it's not just one particular player, one particular group. Us as a whole, we all are working to be better each and every day, more consistent. So I have supreme confidence in all my teammates. They're guys that, really we've been able to come closer and grow together this offseason. So I have all the confidence in the world in the people I'm playing with. And we're all working towards that, that level of success and that standard that Saban sets for us collectively.
Mike Rodak.
Yeah, Bryce, just what do you have to worry about the most when you're throwing against Josh Jobe, and just what stands out the most to you about his game?
Yeah, Job is. It's really a great experience for us as an offense to be able to compete against our defense, and in the past games, specifically with Job. He's someone that's been really competitive. Always comes to practice with a fire. Always pushes me as a passer, our receiver, whoever he's guarding. So really just that intensity, the attention to detail that you can tell he has, it translates, and it's something that really gets us better and prepares us as we're going into the season.
Charlie Potter.
Yeah, Bryce, just what impressed you most about Miami's defense when watching film?
Yeah, Miami's defense is really good on film. They do a lot of stuff that we have to account for schematically, and they have a lot of playmakers. They especially in the back end and really all 11 are guys that we've been studying a lot that we know that we have to prepare for. There's someone that we know we have to come in each day and work, and we know we have to bring our best to Atlanta, and it's a great challenge for us.
Aaron Settles.
What kind of challenge has it been to building cohesiveness on offense? The fact that the guys up front, there's been some injuries and they haven't been able to work as a collective yet.
Yeah, there's always challenges, throughout the off season, but I think really the time, not only on the field, but off the field, through the meeting room and studying and film and all that, that's really just having those conversations a lot of time off the field really does a lot for us. Obviously, there's, that level being on the field together and that experience that, it's pretty irreplaceable. But even off the field or on the sidelines, when you have conversations and you talk things out and you really start to develop that, you start to come together and everyone gets on the same page. I feel like that's something that's really helped us a lot this offseason.
John Zener.
Yeah, Bryce, another question about the receivers. We all know how much talent you guys have sent on to the NFL the last couple of years, but how good do you think this current group could be with Mechie back, Bolden back, but then some newcomers as well?
Yeah, no, we have a really good group, a really talented group. There's obviously been a lot of great players in the past, but that's the standard that coach sets for us. There's always going to be people that are great, and there's going to be new opportunities each year, and it's on us to rise and step up and meet that standard. And this offseason, seeing the work all our receiver corps has put in, and seeing how much they've grown, and just being able to play with them, I have all the confidence in the world in them, and I'm super excited to get started.
Cecil.
Bryce, this may be a little bit offbeat. You do not seem like a nervous individual, but with your first start coming up, if Alabama wins the toss, would you like to take the ball and get out there first?
Oh yeah, you're definitely asking the wrong person. That's definitely a Coach Saban question.
Haley.
Hey, Bryce, kind of piggybacking off of that, this is your first game week as the starting guy at Alabama, so I'm just curious how you're feeling going into game week as the starter and maybe some things that you learned from last season that's going to help you this weekend.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's always exciting being able to go into a game week, with my teammates and with my brothers, and really going in and to a new environment and us getting to start the season. It's very exciting. And especially last year, just being able to be a part of the team and learn, and even learning this year from my teammates it's been great. It's been a great experience. And I definitely don't take it for granted. I've been able to grow a lot from last year and from this off season. So I'm super excited to get started.
Final three questions. We'll start with Charlie.
Yeah, Bryce, you've worked with a couple of centers this preseason with Chris and Darian. Just what's that relationship with both those guys, and how's that kind of juggling two of those?
Yeah, both CO and Darian are my guys. We're all really close, and it's great, really, with the whole O-line, but just specifically talking about those two right now. That's really been probably my favorite part of working with them, is how great of individuals they are, and how well we mesh together, and whether it's on the field, off the field, just being able to be around everyone. And CO and Darian are guys that I'm really close with, both on and off the field, and being able to play with them, and with there being movement, us really having that relationship and us being close, makes all that pretty seamless.
Steve, and then we'll end with Tony.
Bryce, I was wondering how much communication you do have with Mac, and in terms of advice maybe now that you're taking over the starting job? Any advice that he's given you?
Yeah, I've been sworn into secrecy with the advice he's talked to me about. But I've talked to him a few times, and really seeing him do well at the next level is, it's really inspiring for me. And really being able to, with just being so close to him last year and seeing all that he did on the field, off the field, obviously in games, but the Sunday through Friday that no one sees, seeing how he approached it. That was really a big learning experience for me. So, we've talked a few times. Again, I can't, that stuff that's a little personal, so I can't put it out there. But we've talked a few times, and it's really been great to have him in my corner.
Final question, Tony.
Hey, Bryce, indulge me for a second here. I don't know if you've dealt with the new punter, James Burnett, but if you had, how is he doing with his adjustment? And as someone that kind of had to change cultures from the West Coast to Alabama, what advice would you give him in kind of adapting down here? Yeah, I had to change from the West Coast. He's a little bit further, all the way in Australia. So, I've talked to him a little bit about my experience being out here, but I'd be foolish to think that it's really relates. Obviously there's some similarities, but he's a lot further from home than I am. But he's been really cool when I've talked to him. And from what I've seen when I've been around him, everything's been good. But he was in a little bit different of a situation than I was.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you all.
Record.
And that was multiple Alabama players as well as head coach Nick Saban in a press conference as we get set to watch the Crimson Tide take on the Miami Hurricanes in week 1 of the upcoming college football season. Very exciting time for Crimson Tide fans. We heard from obviously Coach Saban as well as Phil Mathis who is a defensive end on the Crimson Tide, as well as Bryce Young, the newly named starting quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide. A little bit of a situation there. John Mechie III, the wide receiver, had to cancel his press conference appearance, so Bryce Young very courageously stepped up to the podium to answer questions from the media. Did a very good job, mentioned that he is still in close contact with Mac Jones, the former Crimson Tide quarterback, who is now in a battle for the starting position with the New England Patriots. Coach Bill Belichick saying earlier today that he has not named a starter yet between either Jones or former Auburn quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner Cam Newton. So very exciting to see there. A little bit of an Alabama connection battling out as well in the NFL. Coach Saban again mentioning the situation regarding Q Robinson, the backup linebacker for the Crimson Tide. He has been suspended indefinitely and is going through protocol regarding alcohol use with the university after he was arrested Saturday night. And he was charged and arrested with a DUI in a 3-car crash. Again, saying that Robinson has been suspended indefinitely. Coach Saban also sent his prayers and thoughts to those being affected by Tropical Storm Ida in the Gulf Coast region. That is also where Phil Mathis's family is, but he said that his family is doing well, so very glad to hear that. This whole press conference will be found over on our website in just a matter of moments, so you can rewatch it in case you missed anything. I do want to apologize for the little bits of delays in the feed and between the appearances at the press conference. Again, lots of things coming up, obviously, as the team gets set to take on the Miami Hurricanes in Atlanta this Saturday. That's going to do it for this latest edition of CBS 42 Now. I'm Phil Penarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.